I believe I heard a black girl say that her pretty hurts. And her pretty will continue to hurt as long as ugly is deemed to those who wear the black body. So can someone please tell me what really is pretty? Because to me, pretty is having hair that defies gravity, possessing skin that ages slowly, embodying a body that can spell any letter in the alphabet other than ugly. So y'all better wake up. Wake up and smell the coffee. For the skin that we wear wrote mankind's history. From our backs, it built the world's nation most powerful economy, and you would think by now that they will be able to give us our 40 acres and a mule, to teach our kids the unsystematic bullshit in school, but to give us those tools will only allow us to build ourselves up, and we got to keep breaking them down. For the sound of anything black succeeding is not pleasing. So let's forget their plan A and let's talk about their plan B, where they allow colorism to consciously creep into the cracks and creases of our cranium to cause chaos, as the caution tape lines the carcass mouth of those who knows the truth, because death shall surely follow them if they dare speak it. But truth is still truth by any other name. So why should we be ashamed to walk the streets in our dreadlocks, our bantu knots, our dashikis, and our afros? Are we still too scared to show how beautiful really is black? Now I get it. I too have seen the cotton trees and the strange fruits that hang from them that look just like me, swinging low or up so high as these bitter tears leak from my eyes. No longer can I deny my past self, for what better gift can one ask for? To know where he came from. Thus, the road to which he's heading would be easy. Trust me, the epitome of black beauty is a living embodiment we see looking at us from the mirror, screaming, Kenson, to love oneself is in vanity. It is sanity. To love oneself is in vanity. It is sanity. To love oneself is in vanity. It is sanity. So y'all can spare me the degrading conversation on what really is pretty, because pretty only seems to hurt me, and only me when I wear it black and proud. Oh, how we just overshadow any crowd by just our presence. And the question how will forever leak the lips of the ones who don't understand we or able to grasp a whiff, just a whiff of the Trinity that lives inside of we. That is when you know your worth and you have it manifest in your own comprehension. So never should we ever, ever, ever again have to shy away from our own reflections, for we are all walking temptations amongst envious eyes. And as they try to internalize us as beings, they can't. They don't possess the key to unlock our ancient rhythm, for our soul screams freedom, for we are free, and free from slavery. I willingly mark my territory with our ancestors. Egungun, Afo, Ashe, they shall make a way, relentlessly and without doubt. Black people, most powerful weapons exist in our mouths, so don't make us make a call to home, because trust me, there ain't no corruption until Africans congregate and start a vibration. So you can keep your version on what really is pretty, because no longer in this 21st century will I, or shall we ever allow it to affect me. Because you want to know why? For our black will forever be beautiful.
Laudat, thank you so much. The words are so inspiring, and it speaks to so many topics that oftentimes swept under the rug, but, having individuals like you giving voice to it and, continuing to put the message out there that, our black is beautiful.
Agreed.
And we cannot be overshadowed and we cannot be silenced and we cannot be made to feel lesser because we are people who are so great.
Agreed.
So, on that topic, of course, I know areas from which you would have gotten inspiration, but was there anything personal that inspired you to write these words and to portray them with so much passion?
Um, I grew up with a father that was of African descent and a mother that was mixed, or as they would call French Creole. And for a long time growing up in that family, there was always a look down. I was the darkest amongst my siblings and my relatives. And for a very long time, there was a lot of, um, I would say, distaste towards that.
By
I'm
whom?
grateful for my mother because she she put me on the path to see and learn what I needed to know to go out into the world. And as hard as it may be to accept, of recent times you would have seen a lot of racist comments towards the African community. And it took me a long time to understand that I have a purpose. And as long as I followed that, I was able to find my true, authentic self and live freely in my own skin proudly. I try my best to teach my students the exact same thing because it's not something that is often taught. It's not something that we get in most schools. I can only speak for myself and my experience. And I know often at times a lot of stuff that comes with peer pressure and with the beauty industry allows us to feel that the only so we can be beautiful is if we um, um, follow the European standard of
Right.
beauty, lighter skin, straighter hair, thinner nose, and all these other type of stuff. As I divulge in my culture and my tradition as a IFA practitioner and a devotee, I allowed myself to really divulge into my heritage, into my past, into my history, and to my culture. And I know that we are the true trendsetters, and anyone out there is just trying to take what is ours and brand it as their own. So I step forward in mine proudly.
And that is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. I see you are proudly wearing your African hair and your African wear as well. What has the response from the general public been to you wearing it so boldly and so proudly?
I've always been a loud person since my name Laudat. So, so anything I do is just like, yeah, I Kenson, no question at all. What I can say is that because of this, that personality, um, my students, I know that the next generation behind me, which is, well, them, um, also are now becoming in or stepping into their own to really acknowledge the black hair and appreciate the black hair and the black look and the African look, I should say, and the culture and the heritage. And yes, we have a long way to go still, but we need to really start in putting it into our kids, our culture, not just half or
Yeah.
not just the popular ones, and really get them to know our authentic self.
How do we begin to? I believe in one thing you are speaking to, but it's not said outright, is that blackness is very much subdued in many cases,
Mhm.
and Africanness as well. How do we begin to address that issue and help people bring out and proudly bring out their inner blackness and their inner Africanness in their everyday lives?
Firstly, we need to accept the fact that we need to understand what colonialism is and what it did to us as a people. That's the first step. And from there, we will begin to unshackle what was placed on us. You know, there's a saying, they remove the shackles from our hands and feet, but place it into our minds. And that is so true. And we see it every day in the crime, we see it every day in all these social issues, teenage pregnancy and so forth, poverty and what have you. As far as I know, anything that deals with Africanness also always associates to negativity. The traditions, they give it the bad names when other traditions are very has similar practices. Um, Anything that is of African nature often associates with negativity or bad. And proper research would allow you to know that um, ignorance is something that exists in the minds of man, and we really need to step away from that. I believe in asking, research, and really going with an open mind, because sometimes some things are so embedded in you that you won't even step foot close to or be willing to sit down and listen and really interpret and understand that what is being given to you is the truth. And I also understand that once we step away from the colonial acts of our everyday lives, we would find our true selves. African practices may not be for everyone, but there is always something that you can learn in it. In Ifa, they teach us about Iwa Pele, which means gentle and noble character. And I believe that should be universal. And we learn from different religions, faiths, walk of life, and there should be no stigmatism of negativity to ours.
You said you spoke earlier of Ifa, and you just mentioned it again. For those of us who don't know, what is the Ifa tradition?
The Ifa tradition is an African oral tradition. This would have been in our culture since the break of slavery, and persons of African descent were free to practice what they would have been put over here and came with. Lots of stuff came from Africa and would have diluted throughout the past,
Right.
but these are some things that would have been um, stayed due to the oral practice.
Right.
This tradition is not as big as Catholicism or Hinduism. However, it is growing in Trinidad and Tobago. Um, this practice is a way of life. This tradition, sorry, is a way of life. Within it, you basically find out what is for you, while other practices may try to categorize everyone in one box. You find out what is your destiny, the directions, the proper directions to go, what you can and cannot do for the benefit of you, for the benefit of you, not the benefit of the circle. But by extension, everyone benefits, because as long as you do what you're supposed to do, it impacts others in ways that you never think.
Kenson, Laudat, thank you so much for joining us this
Thank you for
morning.
having me.
I really, really love that, and I'm inspired by the words that you have spoken this morning, and I thank you so much again for being with us this
Thank you
morning.
very much.
All right, we're now going to the break with some drum music.